Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please go ahead and click on subscribe and click on that bell to receive all the updates and activities on my channel. Alright, so this is going to be a build series or an engine rebuild series for a 1996 Polaris Ultra 680. If you want to know the back history of how we got to this point, go ahead and click on that playlist and it'll bring you up to speed and everything else as far as what we've done to the sled, how we got to this point, and how we're going to remedy it. Alright, so we have the engine completely disassembled at this point. What we're going to do is we're going to start prepping everything in order to get it reassembled. So the first thing you have to do when you're doing any type of engine work is cleanliness. Everything needs to be clean, spick and span, ready to go, and everything else. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take the case halves out. We're going to degrease them, and then we're going to get rid of all the oils and everything else. And then we're going to start the process of scraping down all the RTV or whatever the hell this is on the cases, and start getting them ready. We'll also go around the reed cages and get rid of all the silicone on that as well. But you know, this is where you want to spend the majority of your time in the prep, because you want this thing really to be like an operating room type of environment. You want the thing to be clean as possible, because cleanliness and preparation is what's going to assure that you have a good job and a good running engine once you're done with it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and bring this out and start degreasing it and going from there. Okay, so we did the initial wash of the cases, and again, this isn't the first time we're going to wash these things. We're probably going to wash these things probably about 3 or 4 times over the process. But you know, the first one is just to get all the heavy buildup of junk and dirt and everything else, and oils and everything else off of it, so you're not working on a mess. Once we actually get to the point where everything's clean, we'll clean off the bench, and then we'll make sure this thing's perfectly clean, and then we'll start the reassembly. But so at this point, what we have to do is we got to remove all this red RTV or whatever the hell it is. And typically what I'll do is I'll use a straight razor blade, and then I'll also use an X-Acto knife to get into all these little radiuses. And pretty much between those two things, you can get it pretty clean. All right, let's get to work. One trick that you can do is just take the blade and just go across it, and what you can do is using a scraping motion, this will pretty much ensure that any junk or whatever will get removed from the case. So take the X-Acto knife and start scraping all this junk out. Should come out pretty easily, right? So just like that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the entire case and clean this up, and we'll come back when it's done. Alright, so I did the initial scraping on all the holes in the surfaces, and one thing I always do is I go around and I hit all the holes with the countersink to break all the edges, right? So, you know, it takes the sharpness out of the hole, so if there's anything rising up on it, it makes it for a better seal. So what you want to do at this point, you want to start blowing out all the holes to get rid of all the stuff that's in it. So now that you know we did the first scraping and everything else, and you blew everything out, now you can go look at all your threaded holes, and you want to clean those out as well, because you want everything, again, cleanliness and prep is what we're at this point. We want to make sure everything is nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what the thread pitch is on this, and I'll see if I can find a tap. So I just looked. I don't have the right metric thread for this. What I did is I took one of my extra case bolts and I cut a groove in it with an angle grinder, which essentially we're making a thread chaser. So all we're going to do is we're going to use this and we're going to basically chase all the holes and get rid of all the junk and everything else that's in there. Okay, so I just went around and chased all the holes and cleaned them out, blew them out. So we still have a little bit of silicone up at the tops. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this process not only on the where the crank is going to go, but also on where the coolant reel is going to go, and the reed cages and everything else. So you're just going to repeat the process all the way around, because when you're done with this thing, you don't want any old silicone on it or any junk, because if you don't know, old silicone won't bond to new silicone. So if you skip this step and you try to seal it without cleaning it, you're gonna have a leak and it's not gonna be sealed. Okay, so we've gone around and removed all the silicone from the reed cages and everything else. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just going around with a wire wheel and just cleaning up all the hard to reach areas. Just go very lightly. You don't want to go too heavy and compromise these surfaces. And while you're at it, go ahead and go around the studs and just clean those up as well. And what we'll do is, once we have this done, we'll go around and with the wire wheel and we'll clean all the threads on the cylinder studs, and we'll get those nice and clean as well. Alright, so another step I do is, once I got pretty much all the silicone and all the holes chased and everything else, what I'll typically do is I'll take some WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite pad, a red one, and I'll just go across the top of the deck and just hit it and clean it up. And so what this will do is, as you're basically cleaning up all the aluminum, if there is any silicone or dings or whatever on the case, this will actually allow you to identify a little bit easier, because it will be a difference in the surface finish, and you'll be able to address any problem areas. What I'll also do is I'll take a look at the journals on where the crank is going to sit, and typically I don't go too crazy on this. I'll just look at it real quick and see if there's any material on it, and I'll hit it real lightly with the Scotch-Brite. Alright, so at this point, the prep on the cases has been completed. Got everything out here, and everything went through the final wash and just letting everything dry. So what we'll do is we'll start the reassembly in a second video so it doesn't get too long. Alright, if there's any questions, comments, concerns as far as what has been done so far, go ahead and leave them in the comments box. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. See ya.